Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. In yesterday's Take 5, I was talking about the Charles Dickens novel Great Expectations and a character called Mrs. Havisham, who was jilted at the altar and defrauded and just spent her life shut away in anger and bitterness and grief and passed on all her pain and her hurt to her adopted daughter. She kept the windows closed. She wore the wedding dress that she had been wearing the day of her wedding when she got the news that her husband-to-be had absconded with her money. The clocks were all stopped at the time she received that news. Now, later on then, Mrs. Havisham's wedding dress actually catches fire, and Pip, the hero of Great Expectations, tries to save her, but she subsequently dies of her burns, leaving her remaining wealth to her adopted daughter, Estelle. Now, in the 1946 movie of Great Expectations by David Lean, there's a very powerful scene which wasn't in Dickens' book, but I remember watching it as a young child, watching this black and white movie, and how powerful it was. That basically, the actor John Mills is playing Pip, and he returns to Mrs. Havisham's house after her death and finds her daughter, her adopted daughter, Estella, living in semi-darkness and basically going mad. And Pip rips open the curtains to let the light shine in, to get rid of the darkness and the oppressive atmosphere in that house. And it makes an amazing turnaround in that young girl. Now, that scene, although it wasn't in Dickens' novel, it was in the movie, because that movie was made in 1946. And it was just after the Second World War, with all the austerity and all the sacrifice. And something remarkable happened straight after the Second World War. You had this Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, who had led Britain through the war, an amazing wartime leader, inspirational, kept them going. And then they had an election straight after the war, and they turfed him out. Why? Because the British people were ready for something new and something different. They felt it was time for the light to shine in and the darkness to be removed. And I can remember watching that black and white movie, and there was something in that scene whenever that young man ripped open the curtains and said, "Let the light shine in," that really struck with me and stayed with me. That was back in the 1960s, and it stayed with me ever since. And I didn't understand why, until I came to Christ. And I was reading, as a young Christian, reading about Jesus when he died on the cross. And it says the veil in the temple was torn in two. And I realized that the director, David Lean, had not come up with that idea by himself. He had borrowed it from the Gospels. Because when Jesus died on the cross, you had this musty old temple where the Jewish rituals were still being followed. And when Jesus died on the cross, the veil was ripped in two and the light of God shone in. And when the light shone in, nothing can be the same ever again. And I remember as a young Christian just reading about this veil being ripped in two in the temple and thinking, that's what God did with my heart. He took away the darkness. He tore away the curtains. He let the light shine in, and I can never be the same again. And I still get excited today when I think about that concept, that God came into my life and he let his light shine into the darkness, and I can never ever be content with walking in darkness again. And I pray that today you will walk in the light of God. May God shine his light on your pathway. May God shine his light in your heart. May God shine his light into your spirit. May you live in the knowledge of his love and his grace, and you are loved and you are no longer in darkness. You are in the light. In Jesus' name, God bless you. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.